Hello, welcome to Cherries Red Army, and this is your preview for Sunderland taking on AFC Bournemouth on Saturday. If you're watching this back on replay after it was played live, thank you very much for joining us. We also have a video where Bournemouth fans reacted to that 2-2 at Dean Court, West Ham 2, Bournemouth 2, and we talked about a couple of things that we need to make changes for coming up this Saturday up north against the Black Cats. But if you've just followed us from the previous live stream and you've hopped onto this one, give yourself a pat on the back. Well done. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. The chat is open. If you're a subscriber, do hit the like button on this video as well and help it grow between now and Saturday. So we are going to turn our attentions to focus on the big fixture up north, where both teams are looking to get back to winning ways. So yes, it's a travel up north and both teams, not a lot between them. So Sunderland 7 on 19 points, Bournemouth 8th on 19 points, being separated by a goal difference. And as you can see, no win in 3 for both Sunderland and AFC Bournemouth. Sunderland previously lost out at the weekend against Fulham. So there's a lot on the plate for both clubs in this fixture. And match officials, referee, if you know them, is Tim Robinson. So let's head back to the team and let's get them on the screen now. And I'll come straight to Steve because he wants this stream to be wrapped up fairly soon. He's going to get in the car and start making his journey up there. He's doing it by car. I mean, Steve, I did Newcastle a few seasons ago and I think I said never again, but you are driving to this fixture.
Yep, 5 o'clock start for me. It's gonna be a long day. So fingers crossed we can get something out of it. They're a tough nut to crack, as it's proven so far. Sunderland. Really impressed with them. Really impressed. I thought they've done their business very well. The players they brought in have all got good quality. Actually, they brought in Xhaka, as everyone knows. There's a lot of experience in that back line that they've put together. Ballard is, probably I've heard people say wish he was English so he could be playing for us rather than is he Northern Irish or Irish? One of the islands. But yeah, good solid side. They're a big physical side. So I'm hoping that 5 o'clock start's not not going to go too tits up for me. I've never been there either. Never been to Sunderland, so it's the first one for me. I've been to a stadium of light, but not this one. Weirdly, I've been to Benfica's ground more than I have Sunderland's.
Interestingly, John, they're similar to us. They're very good at home, and I think they're trying to make that their fortress and their best chance of obviously survival. And they've had a very good start. And looking at their home form, bringing it on the screen now. They're decent. I mean, a 3-0 win against West Ham, 2-1 to Brentford, 1-1 against Villa, 2-0 to Wolves, 1-1 against Everton. So actually, I haven't even lost yet at home, John.
Yeah, just like us. And it doesn't bode too well considering our away record is pretty poor. Generally, obviously, the difference is that we've played a much harder selection of teams away from home than we have at home so far this season. But yeah, this is another very difficult away fixture. I mean, Arsenal have gone there and they managed to get a couple of points. The other one, and then Aston Villa, they've also got a point from. So those are the two sort of more difficult games they got there, and they're still unbeaten. So this is not going to be an easy one. As I mentioned on the previous sort of review against West Ham, we struggle against teams that play back five. And Sunderland absolutely do that. You've got obviously Ballard has gotten, as Steve said, has got praise coming up with them from the Championship and has scored a few goals. But Mukiele is a player that's getting a lot of compliments out there at the moment. But it is that midfield of Siddiqui and Xhaka that I feel is going to be one of the biggest factors for whether we can really get too much out of this game. It's not exactly the same as the way that we have, but it certainly do have Siddiqui as the guy that doesn't stop running, and Xhaka is the composed metronome next to him, and it's exactly the kind of combination you want to see. It's like Drinkwater and Kante from Leicester's title-winning season. It's the passer and the workhorse, and one facilitates the other. So it's sorry,
Arthur and Sermon.
Yeah, well, Arthur was a decent passer as well, to be fair.
Scott and Adams.
But yeah, well, we would like Christian Adams. Christian Adams. So yeah, it's going to be a really hard game. I would love to have been coming to this fixture. I'm not have other commitments this weekend, but I'm looking forward to keeping across this game because it's going to be another one of those games that really sort of shows off like where are Bournemouth at the moment, because we've done well against a fair few sides, we've performed well against and we've come off of a fantastic second half against West Ham where they completely sat off us and allowed us to play. But Sunderland know exactly what they are this season, and they are playing the physical long ball, defend deep, press well, press in the right moments and counter-attack football that was always going to suit the Premier League, and they're doing it far better than Leeds and Burnley. So, this is the modern way of football that Bournemouth absolutely play, just in a slightly different fashion. How are we going to do when we are coming there as favourites, I would say, and will be expected to dominate the ball more so than Sunderland, most likely? Are we going to be able to break down a very stubborn, well-organised defence? And this will tell us a lot about where we are, more so than I think the West Ham game did.
So, Aaron, putting you on the spot a little bit here. This was their lineup last weekend in a 1-0 loss to Fulham. Lafay, who was linked with us, but we weren't big enough for him at the time. And as we know, Xhaka, 33 years old, I think he is now, but he is absolutely their warrior in there. I think there's a real battle between him and Tyler Adams on Saturday. When you look at that, though, what do you see? Because it is a little bit of the unknown. We don't know an awful lot about them, but they're solid at home and they're in a good position, one league position above us.
Yeah, I'm not sure we are the favourites. I just think the last 3 games we're not on the great run of form points wise. I think it's as John said, it's going to be incredibly hard. It's not the game we really want when we're searching for our first win in 4 games. Annoyingly, Siddiqui and Xhaka are both on 4 yellows and didn't pick one up in the last game. I was hoping that one of them or both of them would, but they didn't. We've obviously got a few players on 4 ourselves, so we're walking a tightrope. But yeah, John said they got power, they got pace. Traore is a real handful. They're an efficient team. They've been put together, but they now know what they're doing. They're consistent. A bit different, they don't seem to have had too many injuries as well, so that they've been able to really get into their groove. I think it's going to be very difficult. I think, the energy in there, I said it before in the previous stream, I think this is a game where we need a bit more energy in there. I'll put Ryan Christie in the team. I don't know if Kluivert's going to be fit or not. Again, trying to get him back to some sort of form, so influential last season. I know he's injured at the moment, but when he has been fit, he hasn't really shown it. We just really need to be on it. We really need to be on it, because I think that if we turn up, and hopefully Semenyo is fit, by all accounts he is going to be fit for this weekend, then if we play like we did in the second half, and we have done countless times this season, we can get a result, absolutely. But if we're not on it, as Arsenal found out when they went up there, we're not going to get anything from the game, and then it's suddenly 4 games without a win. And we could end up, by the end of the weekend being, 12th, 13th. I don't know, because it's so very tight. So, as John said, it's a marker for us. It's a big game. It's Sunderland before the start of the season, we would have looked at this as a shoe-in 3 points. It's certainly not that. We're going to come on to score predictions later on. Would I take a point? I think any point away from home is in the Premier League is decent, especially against Sunderland, the way they're above us in the table, aren't they? So it wouldn't be a disastrous point at all. But yeah, I think it's going to be very, very difficult. I'm not massively looking forward to it, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But we are, we've got to back ourselves. And as I said, if we turn up, a few injury comebacks, hopefully, then we can certainly get something from the game. But yeah. It's going to be tricky.
Let's just dive into the chat for some early comments, because Ben seems to think if we don't win, is it signs of maybe the wheels being off? We'll see. Stephen Dyer says Ballard is a solid local lad and can score at set pieces. I think he scored against Arsenal, didn't he? I think he did. Mark Singleton says Cherries do very well in the northeast. That's very, very good. If Semenyo is playing, should be a good game changer. He is in the training picks. Now, Steve, of course, you can look at football matches and go, you've got the better team, the better talent, you turn up, we win the fixture. What these type of games have and the stadium they've got is they can be the 12th man. I tell you what, I've never been there either. But you can see there is an atmosphere inside of there. That worries me a little bit because I feel like we struggled at Leeds a bit from the physicality and maybe the atmosphere. Are you worried at all that the occasion, I know it sounds weird because we've been in the Premier League a long time, but I just think that the atmosphere there, even Arsenal struggled to beat them. This is going to be really tough from a different point of view. Yeah,
I mean, I've not experienced it, but people always say that it's an absolute cauldron. The Sunderland fans really know how to back their team, pretty much as good as anyone does. And it's a bit of the unknown, isn't it? We've not encountered them for a little while. Definitely not in the Premier League.
We've not played many games together.
Yeah, we must. Yeah.
Where we 4. I'll have a look on
SofaScore.
I'll have a look on SofaScore.
I'm looking at Richie scored that blinder, didn't he, at home against?
Of course he did.
Yeah. We've not too many occasions.
So that was 2-0. So I think
certainly this group of players
games against them
will have not experienced it before. So I'm just looking at their results. I mean, even when they were down to 10 men for a long period of the game against Villa, they still managed to get a draw out of the game. They still scored. They went 1-0 down and drew 1-1. So they're obviously resilient. They're very physical. They're a big side, which concerns me, especially with a direct style of play. We're not the best, as we've shown at defending set pieces. We lack a bit of height generally. They've got some big guys in there. Xhaka's quite big. Issador's big. Ballard's tall. And as John touched on, Mukiele at the back. They got Gertruda as well. Is he at PSV? Was he, or Feyenoord? One of the two. Dutch international. They got that Mandava from Atletico Madrid. He's obviously no mug if he's at Atletico Madrid. And Robin Roofs. I mean, what a goalkeeper he is. He's been goalkeeper of the season so far for me. I mean, I don't know where they got him from, but if I unearthed a little gem there. So there's some quality on that pitch. I'm just looking at the midfield, and they seem to the setup seems to be. Is it wing backs, John? Is it 3 at the back and wing backs?
Yeah,
kind of situation. Does that mean they got 2 in midfield?
Yeah.
So I wonder if
the coach seems to be switched on as well.
Well, I was going to go on to something. Was he not in charge of Lorient when they went down?
Yes,
and did was Foley in charge? Was Foley in charge at that point?
Well, he left at the end of that season, if I remember correctly. Foley isn't in charge. He's got a 25% stake.
Okay,
but he was at the club. Foley was absolutely.
I mean, we didn't need to find the details, John.
No, but I wonder if there's a little bit of there's a sort of extra little incentive for him to get one over on Foley. I don't know, but clutching at straws a little bit maybe, but. Yeah, I just think that midfield looks like a place where we can sort of try and dominate the game a bit and put the pressure on if it's 2 against 3, if you see what I mean.
Let's just knock the comments off the screen. So yeah, just to bring it up here. So 4 head-to-heads in the Premier League. It was a 2-0 to Bournemouth. So that would have been the Matt Ritchie goal. Sunderland won, Bournemouth won in 2016. The return fixture, we lost at home, or it wasn't the return fixture, we lost at home to them 2-1. So they've beaten us once, drawn once, and we've won twice. And we won the last one in 2017. So not a lot to go off. So we had a quick look at obviously what they might do. What I want to do now then, guys, and we were talking in the previous stream about what do we need to do to have success and get back to winning ways? So we've done this before in the chat, and you can obviously get involved. I want to bring up a football pitch. I've sort of half loaded the team. Okay, so we're going to put ourselves in Andoni Iraola's shoes. I wish, by the way, but we're going to put ourselves in his boots for the moment. And as you can see, play along in the chat. I put some players out here. So Petrovic to start. Hopefully he has a little bit of a better game than he did the other day. Well, in that first half, I thought, he could have done better with the first goal. But Petrovic in goal. Trufer and Senesi, I think that they're bangers to be in. Adams, Tavernier. And then I've left the other spaces open. Okay, so Aaron, first centre-back. You're Andoni Iraola. What are you doing Saturday?
What I think he'll do or what I would do?
No, what you would do.
What I would do?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Imagine Aaron.
He didn't know either way.
I don't know why I asked that question.
I think what we've learned is
I don't know the answer either way.
Okay.
Imagine Aaron as a Premier League manager walking into the changing room and going,
I don't know,
guys.
Okay,
live on YouTube, if we ever end up in a situation where we need an interim coach, it's not
I'm
you,
going to
Aaron.
put I'll put Zabani there personally. No, I would have rightly or wrongly, I would stick with Diakite. We need some consistency. We need to give the guy a run of games. If after a few games, then we can switch him. But for me, I like.
We need this in the chat. Who are you putting in, Milo or Diakite? Help us in the chat.
Diakite for this game. Let's give him another chance.
John, I think it's got to be Milo. Diakite I think needs nurturing. I think I know he's cost a lot of money, but he's just I don't trust him at the moment.
Why are we not even talking about James Hill, just out of interest?
Well, if you remember, I think that
on the bench these days,
Salah's got Salah's fourth goal in the Liverpool game. He'd been on the pitch for 10 minutes and he got outrun by Salah after 90, and it was just it was a shocking display of laziness. And I'm fairly certain, if I remember correctly, similar thing.
Are you the James Hill club, Steve?
I'm not a massive James Hill fan.
I'm just interested why we're not.
No, I don't. I'm sorry. Brighton away last year, he switched off for both of the goals. He's got too many mistakes.
I quite like James Hill, actually. I think the majority of the games I saw him last season, I liked him, but he started really badly this season, and as a result, he's got pushed down the pecking order.
We talk about nurturing players and giving them a run in the team. He never ever seems to get that, or.
To be fair, I think he should probably be playing it. If we're looking at whether he'd play, right back is a good choice for him. He actually he produces a good cross, which Jimenez has not done. Smith can, but
they're
Cook
producing good crosses like everyone else in the book.
But we originally spoke about. I know I said what you would do, but in fairness, I don't think James Hill's got a chance to start on Saturday. All right, I'm going anything against James Hill, by the way. He put his window down to say hello to me in his car, so I actually like James Hill.
Lewis Cook centre back?
No, that only works, Aaron. That only worked because West Ham literally retreated. I mean, you put that in a normal environment, Lewis Cook's going to struggle to hell. So I
honestly think it's a toss of a coin because neither of them are faultless at the moment.
So I think some of the chat are saying you've got to stick with Diakite.
I think I'd go with Diakite. I think you need to manage him and give him some confidence.
Yeah. The one thing I would say is that in terms of instructions, it's a little bit easier this week. There's a lot of long balls. Sunderland are not like only a long ball team. They absolutely can play through the first. Yeah. Isidore is a player that they'll use as a springboard for their attacks, and he needs to be the guy that physically dominates Isidore, and I trust him to do that more than I trust Velshko, because he's just unlikely to. He's not got the physicality that Diakite brings, I don't think, as much as he does have the height. But for me, you just got to give him some faith and just say, right, I trust you for a couple of games, go and perform. I think he needs that.
Okay. It's fair comments in the chat. I mean, I think I'd go with Milo, but actually, I can't argue with what a lot of people have said. So moving over to the right-hand side, Steve, they're both fit. Smith or Jimenez?
Jimenez for me.
Yeah,
I just think he gives us so much more attacking threat than Smudge.
He creates carnage. He is a young Smith.
Yeah, I mean, Smith's absolutely fine, but he's not as dynamic. by any way, shape, or form. You probably would say he's better defensively, but I don't think we need to worry about that so much. It's what, like we pointed out earlier, look what happened when last weekend when we didn't have a recognised right back who's going to bomb forward and get on the overlap and give whoever's playing on the right wing a little bit of space because they're dragging players away from them, creating the space for that attacking player and creating overloads. So I would go Jimenez. I've been very impressed with him. The only game I think he struggled a little bit was Villa, but I think a lot of players struggled that game, and I don't think he was really expecting to come on in that game. But yeah. I would go with him. From what I've seen, 90% of it's been, really good.
The only thing sorry, Aaron.
No, go for it. Go.
The only thing I just would say is that the Sunderland left winger typically at the moment is Enzo Lefebvre, and he's not a pacey winger. He's a tricky player. He will turn. And if Jimenez is not switched on, he'll turn him inside out. So I trust Smith a little bit more with a player like that, particularly for getting in his head and just being being someone that just has the experience that obviously Jimenez lacks. But in terms of going forward, you'd pick him over any other right back option at the moment comfortably.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would put Jimenez in because I really like him. I would say again, number one, what John just said, but number two, again, it's a bit kind of selective memory. With the same with Christie, like you forget how good Smith is when he's not. He hasn't been in the team for quite some time. You forget how good he was last season, and he defies gravity. And he's pushing the wrong side of whatever he is, but you forget until he's in the team. You forget how good he is. And I just think sometimes, especially defensively, and his experience and his leadership, we could do with him in a stadium of light personally, but yeah, I'm just again, it's just that Jimenez is we need to move on from Adam Smith at some stage. I get that, and Jimenez for me Jimenez has massively impressed me, and I think he's the future. Sign him up, etc., etc. I just think right now he's not a nailed on starter because he started Lewis Cook in the last game. I just think if Adam Smith is fit, you can't forget how good he is.
No, I don't doubt. I don't doubt that. It's no sort of. I'd be happy with either. I just think from an attacking perspective, he gives us more than Smith does.
Do you think that Iraola will start with Cook? Because why wouldn't he if he had them both?
I think he's making a massive mistake if he starts with Cook. I know he was brilliant.
I think he started with Cook on the weekend because of the concussion. The concussion thing that Smith had. Yeah. And Jimenez obviously wasn't. He had a bit of a nightmare at Villa, didn't he? To be honest, that one game. And I just thought he'd take him out the firing line for a bit. Yeah. But actually, when he put him back in, he was brilliant in that game.
There was the element as well. I mean, I don't know what it was for because it wasn't injury related, but he did leave the under-21 Spain camp early as well in the international break, and that was for carrying something. But it wasn't for an injury. It was confirmed. It was not injury related. It was something else, possibly discipline, possibly personal, possibly disciplinary. Okay. So there may have been something else going on there where Iraola was just like, you know what, I'm going to keep him out of the firing line in terms of starting the game, and then obviously. We know what West Ham was always going to do, so there was no pressure on him defensively. You can let him go out and do his thing, attacking-wise, in the second half.
Let's just quickly fire over to the football pitch again. I'm going to jump centre midfield for the moment. Okay, so off the right, I'm assuming Semenyo's fit and he's in. Tavernier, I mean, again, I don't think Kluivert's going to be fit, but we'll know more about the squad later in the week. Who are we playing off the right-hand side, John?
I mean, for me, it's Brooks. I just think he and particularly if Jimenez plays, he gets a much better amount of support. I think that the problem, the bit of a problem that we've got, and it may well be, as much as I don't necessarily agree that it is the best way to play the two of them, I do think that it kind of suits Brooks a little bit more playing on the left at times, because the problem with Tavernier is that Tavernier just continually drifts left. And if Scott typically plays on the left of Adams, there's no one on the right-hand side to support whoever the right midfielder is. Now, if Semenyo is out there on his own, you can kind of give the ball to him and just wait and see what he does. But you can't do that with Brooks. You need to bring players around him because he wants to play intricate balls and create triangles and make little runs to then receive. He combines well with Christie. He'll combine well with Tavernier if Tavernier actually plays on the same side of him. So you could make the argument, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why Iraola has occasionally played Brooks on the left and Semenyo on the right. But I think Brooks is coming just back to the player that we saw when he played for us in his first season. Obviously, we're playing in a slightly different team, but like the confidence is there, the ability is there. The goals and assists haven't quite arrived yet in the same way as he did in that first season, but like he looks like the player that we've always wanted to see back in a Bournemouth shirt now, and I think he just needs to keep getting starts, and just because the more and more he gets up to speed and the more and more support he gets, there will be some fantastic performances coming through him. I have no doubts.
So in the previous stream, Steve, we were talking about potential problems we're having up top, not scoring enough goals, but you've got a £40 million striker. Surely you play him. I mean, it does mean that Krupi's maybe sitting on the bench. You now is probably going to need a little bit more protection, and we know we can bring him on just like we did against West Ham. Surely you got to persist with Ivan Nilsson, though, surely.
I think so. I think it seems to me like he's lacking confidence, like a couple of our players seem to be at the minute. And you just got to keep persisting with somebody. He can score goals. The only thing that worries me about him playing against that back three is that it's almost it's 1 against 3 almost. I know you'll have Tavernier in there, but we saw on the weekend he can't beat them in the air. He's just not that type of player. He needs balls in behind. He needs balls in those little channel runs he makes. I just think you got to persist with him. It's a really difficult one because numbers don't lie, and Krupi's got more numbers than he has this season with less game time. And we all hope that we've unearthed the next, Henry, as everyone says, every time we get a French striker in the Premier League. And signs are good so far, but I think he might find that too much of a physical battle, Krupi, up against those three. Whereas I think Evan Nilsson's got a bit more about him.
I think it's easier to play Evan Nilsson from Iraola's point of view. Krupi's the youngster, and Evan Nilsson is a £40 million player who needs a goal and doesn't want to be dropped. I mean, the last time we played a back three of that kind of ilk, of a really good ilk, was Crystal Palace, and Krupi got 2 goals. Yeah, got 2 goals against them. I would play Krupi personally. I think Krupi's on fire. I think he's confident. And I just think at the moment that's just what I would do. I think Steve's right. I think Iraola will play Evan Nilsson, and he obviously knows far better than me. He's not stupid. He's not going to cut his nose off to spite his face. I would play Krupi at the moment.
I have to say,
it's easier for us to say, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I do think that as I've already brought up, I think Tavernier kind of he has his strengths, but he also has his bad days. And I also think that as a number 10, he's a very, very mixed bag. And I think I kind of think that Evan Nilsson needs Kluivert, having thought about it a little bit more, because the one thing
is that not another mixed bag, though?
Yeah, but the thing is, it kind of works well together. And when they were in there, when they were playing at the best, obviously Kluivert scored a lot of penalties. But the thing that you do get from and the point really of Evan Nilsson is that he's more of a facilitator. He's more of a guy that occupies space, occupies players, helps sort of allow pressure to come away from some of the other attacking players. And what you absolutely need in the same, it's not the same thing, but if you look at it, it's not exactly the same thing. But look at England in the World Cup and how much of it in the Euros and how much of it frustration there was with Kane playing with, Foden and Bellingham, and playing with all these players that wanted to defeat, and no one ran on beyond.
That's why Sterling works so well for England,
and that's why Sterling works so well, and Rashford works so well in the current system, and why Gordon should absolutely have been playing more in that Euros. But what you've got Evan Nilsson, who does make the odd run, but certainly comes deep a lot, and also is decent with the ball to feed. And then you've got Brooks, who wants the ball to feet. You've got Semenyo, who's got the pace to get him in behind, but he absolutely wants the ball to feet. You've got Tavernier, who wants the ball to feet. Where is the guy that's running beyond? And that's where Kluivert will absolutely make something happen. And why in the current set that we've got in the front four, I think Krupi works better in this situation because he does make those runs and beyond. He's more active in the way that he shifts himself around the pitch. And Palace is the perfect example of that, as Aaron brought up. It is a bit of a gamble in terms of like you're sort of putting more faith in the youngster that's coming through when you've got someone with the experience of Evan Nilsson who's played regular Champions League football, and he's the guy that you can sort of rely on more because you have a greater breadth of experience with him as the striker. But it's one of the issues that I'm having with the attack at the moment is things feel too slow and everyone wants the ball to feet. And the guy that you want to sort of like just turn it on and make something happen, Semenyo didn't play last game, and against Man City he was incredibly disappointing. The fact that he basically didn't try and take on his man more than about 3 times in 90 minutes, which is just not good, regardless of how well he's played previously. So, I think that we'll probably see Evan Nilsson, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the first 55 minutes is incredibly placid from the team. He brings on Krupi or Unal and things change very quickly because you have something different to 4 or 5 players that all want the ball to feet when we're going forward.
Another option is potentially, and someone made a comment in the chat there, is that you could put Tavernier to the right, or if you're guaranteed to, if you have to play Tavernier, and Krupi could play the 10 behind Evan Nilsson until Kluivert is up and running. And I know Kirk, you obviously you have your he can be inconsistent and go missing in games, and he has been so disappointing this year, injuries aside. But a fully firing Kluivert last year was dynamite, and I'm sure Iraola wants to get him fit and match fit and starting and trying to get up to speed he was. But until he is, maybe Krupi is the 10 because he can run in behind Evan Nilsson. He can get close to him. We know he can drift and hold back like he did against Crystal Palace and shoot from the edge of the area. That does mean obviously only one of Tavernier and Brooks is going to be in the starting lineup. And both can play off the right.
He always has Tav, so it's not going to be Brooks.
Yeah.
But then Brooks will be on the bench, which is potentially harsh. But as John said, it's not fluid or flexible or quick enough up front, and it's not working. Then Krupi is a much more natural 10 potentially than Tavernier is.
Right, in the chat, we got one position left. We know what we're talking about. It's Ryan Christie or it's Alex Scott. So 30 seconds in the chat. Steve, I think I know this sort of way it's going to go here. And I think, remind me, I think you spoke about half an hour ago, 40 minutes ago, about in these types of fixtures where there's a lot of men behind the ball, maybe it's designed for Christie rather, or it might have been John.
No, it's John that mentioned that.
It was John. But obviously we all sort of saw what was going on here. But Christie does add a dimension. He does add a press. He is busy. And I think it's going to be Christie in the chat by the looks of it.
Yeah, I would agree because as I pointed out earlier, I just think all round he gives us more than Scott. That's not to don't get me wrong. I'm not putting Scott down at all. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to see Scott dropped because he's just done so well, got into the England squad, and then he comes back and he's missed. He's dropped out the side. I don't know if that would go. How that would affect him. You'd like to think it wouldn't, but confidence is a big part of football. And if his confidence took a knock, and say, I don't know, but Christie for me, he, even in the international games, Christie's popping up with a couple of goals here and there, which has been quite impressive. He just seems to pop up for Scotland all the time. He does, if he can add that to our game, because we need goals. But I just think he's, especially if you've got a 3-on-2 situation and you've got, and say the 3 players were Adams, Christie, Tav, you've got, I would arguably say they're the 3 most energy driven players that we've got. They don't stop for the 90 minutes, all 3 of those. They're just go, go, go. I just think we'd suffocate the life out of Sunderland with those 3. I really do. And you just wouldn't give them a chance. That's what I'd like to see.
I like Ben's point there about Christie being the metronome. Is that it's something that Alex Scott doesn't do in terms of dropping in, picking up the ball, looking up, and playing a pass. And that is just the entire defense, apart from Senesi, is far too slow at playing the ball at the moment. And if we're going to be the ones that have to be, if they're going to be the ones that are expected to be the ones that dominate possession, have 50, 55, 60% possession, it's got to be a lot quicker than it has been. And Christie will make that happen.
I also think we need to stop them playing their game. And I think Christie gives you a better option at doing that than Scott will.
I want to see us be physical as well, I feel like some of these fixtures...
For somebody who's so slight in Christie, he's not scared of a challenge or anything. He'll put his foot in.
So I know, Aaron, we're going to let you down here because I know you're going to want Scott in there, but it looks like it's going to be Ryan Christie.
Yeah, look, as Steve said, you could put Scott anywhere else on the pitch. I don't want to see Alex Scott drop, but for me,
no, I don't.
You forget anything else. Ryan Christie has to be in his team, not just for this game, but for a run of games now, because that's what he brings to the team. So, you can talk about 10s and rights and lefts and 6s and 8s, and I couldn't care less. Ryan Christie has to be in his team at the moment, and that's the end of it for me.
That's the lineup we've come up for.
He'll have an absolute stinker now on Saturday. You watch.
If he plays.
That's the lineup we've come up in our live stream with the help of the chat. If you're a Sunderland fan or a Bournemouth fan, let us know your thoughts in the comments if you're watching this back on replay. Okay, we want your score predictions now for Sunderland taking on AFC Bournemouth on Saturday. Whilst you're also thinking about that, you can hit the like button, subscribe, and that's it really. Thank you to our monthly members for supporting the channel, so we're able to do these streams. You can become a member at www.buymeacoffee.com/Cherries Red Army. So get the chat going with the score predictions. Whilst you're doing that, I won't fly back to that. Should we have a look at the rest of the fixtures, shall we? We always have a quick look, don't we? What's going on over the weekend? Let's just knock that off the screen and let's go.
Unbelievable fixtures tonight, by the way. PSG are 4-3 up against Spurs at the moment.
Really?
At PSG?
Yeah, 4-3 PSG. And Liverpool, I'm a bit worried about this. Liverpool are 3-1 down at home to PSV.
Oh, wow.
Have you seen PSV play?
I haven't seen them play.
Has anyone seen them play? I saw them. They took apart Napoli the other week. They were absolutely brilliant. And I was looking. I looked up because everyone's been getting on about what happens if we lose Iriola, and I was thinking, well, get the PSV manager because he seems to know what he's doing.
I think
I'm calling in terms of
Iriola's
follow-up manager. I saw an article not recently. I think if we could get him, I think Cesc Fabregas would be the perfect manager to come in.
Oh, tell you what, I'm hoping this is a show about 3 years away, by the way, and we're just talking in the future right now.
And then you woke up.
Welcome to Cherries Red Army and the Champions League show here.
Yes,
live streaming on a Wednesday in the UK.
Rest of the Fabregas is our manager.
Match week 13. Brentford taking on Burnley, Manchester City versus Leeds, Sunderland, Bournemouth, Everton, Newcastle, Tottenham, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Manchester United, Villa, Wolves, Forest, Brighton, West Ham, Liverpool, and Chelsea, Arsenal. Another London fixture for Arsenal. I tell you what, if they throw this league away now, Arteta is the ultimate bottler, by the way. He is the ultimate bottler if they throw this league away.
That's not happening.
This is going to be one of the biggest tests for them, isn't it? This week.
Chelsea.
Right, we've got some score predictions going in. You've still got 30 seconds if you want to do it. Right, let's go round. Steve, you've got your 5 a.m. journey up. What are you looking for? What are you hoping for, actually?
What I'm hoping for is a comfortable 2-0.
It's not going to be comfortable at all.
Yeah.
It is not going to be comfortable. It might be 2-0, but it ain't going to be comfortable.
I want to be Olayin by the 85th minute as we're passing it around.
Not talk about Champions League.
If that's going to happen,
people.
If that's going to happen, it'll be a 3-0 like at Old
time
Trafford.
You and I we were in the Northeast. Well, not the last time, but one of the times we were in the Northeast, and it was Middlesbrough away. You were at that game, weren't you? Was it you at that game?
No,
sure, you were outside.
I
lost 1-0.
No,
you were definitely at that game.
Oh no, I remember early kickoff. Yes.
Yeah, Jaden Anthony gave the penalty away. Or was it?
Yes, it was late on, wasn't it? I think.
I can't remember, but it was awful.
Yeah.
and we were.
The only thing I remember vividly about that was the joint cries of the entire crowd telling Sky Sports to go shut it.
That was it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so anything but that sort of game where we lose 1-0 and we're just
That was a shocking
placid.
game.
So I'm going to go with I'll be happy with a 1-1.
Oh, and you did say you'd be happy to take a draw at Leeds as well. I don't know if you got the score prediction right on that day.
I'm happy every time, any away point. I say it every week. Any away point in the Premier League, I'll bite your hand off
That's a
for
good
it.
point. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Chris. He's going for 3-2. Stephen Dyer's going for a 2-2. Mark Singleton going for Cherries Red Army, hopefully. 3-1 to the Cherries. 2-1 from Mark Cole. Mark has gone for Hart wants a 1-0, but we're going to cancel each other out 1-1. Ben, it's either 4-2 to us or 0-0. Completely two different score lines there. Aaron, what's your score prediction?
I'm really not confident for this. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe the last 3 games have given me a bit of a reality check. I don't know. I'm not going to back us to lose. I'm going to go with the draw as well. I think it'll be 2-2. I think Semenya will be back, and I think we'll score. We'll look dangerous. I just can't see us keeping a clean sheet. In their cauldron. So 2-2, but probably would snap your hand off for it right now. Probably.
Atmos 1040 with you a convincing Cherries Red Army, the famous 3-1. John, score prediction.
I think
we're a confident bunch, aren't we?
My realistic or maybe pessimistic head is saying it's probably going to be a 2-1 loss. We'll probably go 2-0 down and nick a goal, and then really try and force a second and never really make anywhere near a half decent chance to get the second goal. Then in my hopes would probably be something along the lines of a 2-2 draw where it's quite back and forth and it's a basketball match.
That's your best hope is a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, that's because I just with Sunderland's home record, our away record, with both teams not coming in off the greatest bit of form, and then you look at how poor we kind of tend to be in the first half of games, attacking. Yeah, I'm not coming into this with much hope for a win. If we do, it would be a hell of a marker to lay down. But I think I'm like Steve. I would absolutely snap your hand off for a point.
Do you know what? I'm gonna cheer this prediction up, and I'm gonna change mine. We're having a comfortable 2-0.
I'm changing up. After all of this,
it's going to be freezing.
3-0 Bournemouth.
How is it going to be
3-0 Bournemouth?
comfortable?
We will be allaying. 3-0 Bournemouth. Changed it.
It'll be Old Trafford all over again.
We're going to teach these newbies a lesson.
Talk Fan TV is going for the famous Cherries Red Army 3-1. Right, what's going to happen, guys, is Bournemouth are going to get back to winning ways. We're going to create Sunderland's first loss at home. We're going to get some decent points on the road. Milicevic is going to start and he's going to score the first goal. Even Nielsen's going to back him up. And then Alex Scott is going to come off the bench to get the winner 3-2. That's what it's going to be. 3-2 to the Cherries.
I'd love Adley to get the winner.
Oh, that'd be nice. I just want him to turn up.
Do we need to see a bit more from him? A little bit of a discussion.
Yeah,
I actually thought he was bright against
now
West
we
Ham.
do.
Didn't you second half?
We really need him now.
Yeah, I thought we were all a bit mesmerised by his one drop of the shoulder in the game against Wolves, where he looked like, wow, he went plaster player. And since
I thought he was all right on Saturday.
Not seen enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, it's difficult though because of how West Ham set up the second half.
But equally,
you know what I mean?
He's not getting a run in the team again. Is
No.
true. But he's not done enough to warrant it.
He'll have to step up soon.
I'm with you, Stephen Dyer. Even Nielsen to get the winner.
And by the way, Stephen Dyer remembers seeing you at Middlesbrough, John.
Yeah. I think Stephen put that in the chat. He said that he saw John there.
And I remember seeing Stephen.
So it's a big fixture in the North East on Saturday. Anyone going, fair play to you, get behind the Cherries. Anyone following the Cherries around the world, thank you very much for joining Cherries Red Army this evening, but get behind the team. And if you watch this back on replay, do give us your score predictions in the chat. Steve, final thoughts. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having us on again. Look, it's going to be a tough match. Let's not mess about it. They're a decent outfit. They've adapted to Premier League really well. Bought very well. physical side, haven't lost at home yet. But hey, those things are there to be upset, aren't they? And I'd imagine after the first half display on the weekend just gone, Iriola would have put a rocket up the boys' arses, and they won't be coming out like that again. So let's back the boys. We'll get up there and we'll have a bit of a drink, a bit of a sing song, and it'll be 2-0. Don't you worry about it.
Safe travel, Steve. Put the thermals on. Aaron, thank you very much. Final thoughts.
Thanks for having me. Great to see everybody in the chat. And yeah, let's hope bring the points home. And yeah, we've got a nice lot of fixtures in December as well. So hopefully by the end of the year we'll still be roughly where we are now, if not higher.
Wonderful. John, good to see you again. I reckon on the next stream you might have a little desk or a table that goes with that chair. That's what we're hoping for.
The desk's right here.
Oh,
Everything is on the desk. And there's another one there. So we've got desks.
I thought it was just floating. I thought you had this amazing floating.
I reckon every week John should have another piece of furniture, just one piece.
Yeah, there'll be a
Bournemouth shirt in the corner or something. Just
there'll be a keyboard in here probably in a week or two
That's
that you'll
not
probably
furniture.
see. And then
I'm going to sit
something
on the
that goes in a room and it stays there. What more do you want? Yeah. So yeah, thanks for having me on again to bring it back. Looking forward to the game. Absolutely, it should be. I mean, obviously, if it's one-sided in the wrong direction, we won't find it too enjoyable. But it should be a very entertaining game. I fully expect it to be. And I'm hopefully next time I'm on here, I can rave about the how well the players played and the changes that Iriola made, and we'll be flying back up the table into the European spots.
Absolutely. And if we beat Sunderland on Saturday, we'll definitely go above them. Not much in this fixture. Could be a tight game. Definitely not a comfortable 2-0, but it might be 2-0. It just won't be comfortable. Thank you for joining us.
What's Carol Toller say?
I don't know. She's here. She'll have to put a comment in the comments. I don't think she's here. She might be watching, but I haven't seen her in the chat. She might put something in very, very late as we outro this latest stream. Thank you to Bournemouth fans, Sunderland fans, anyone who's checked out this video. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments if you watch this back on replay. Do enjoy the rest of your week. Do enjoy the Premier League fixture up north. Until the next one from me, John, Aaron, and Steve, we'll see you soon. Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries.
You Reds.